can see here in the back, the coil is starting to leak. So this is why we're going to be replacing our heat coil. Once you remove your two panels, you're going to remove this frame. There's a few screws that tie right into the sheetrock. Go ahead and pull that off. Once you remove the screws, go ahead and remove the frame. Turn off your breaker. Now we are going to remove this cap from the bib so that we can drain the coil. Now you're going to want to locate your shutoff valve, turn your shutoff valve off, and that will stop the water going to your coil. Get your hose and open up the valve. And you'll start to hear the water start to drain from the coil. Now we're going to need access to the connections for the coils. So you're going to have to remove the sheetrock just above your heating coil. If there are any electrical outlets, make sure that you kill the power and remove any lights or whatever it is that's in the way or restricting you from getting in there. So you can see here we have the connections going through the coils, and we're going to have to remove this piece of wood. Here we've removed the wood, and that just gives us much better access to start working on removing the old coil. You can see here on the coils, they have two screws, one here and one on this side, all the way in the back. We're going to have to remove those two screws. We're going to disconnect the two wires coming from the taco pump. You see here we have one going to the terminal over here. We'll disconnect that, and then we'll just cut this neutral wire. We pull the terminal out and we cut the neutral. Now you can pull the wires through. Next we'll just cut the old coil out. What I do is I cut it right underneath where I'm going to be loosening the connection with my torch. So next, I'm not going to be able to show you while I'm working on this, obviously because I need both hands, but I'm going to explain it to you. So you want to have a wet rag, you want to wrap around the pipe, so when you're using your torch, you don't catch any fire. Make sure you're wearing your safety glasses, make sure you're wearing proper hand gear. I always like to have another piece of a wet rag here, in case I need it for an emergency situation. Of course, a fire extinguisher nearby would be helpful as well. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to use my vice grips. I'm going to grab the bottom of the pipe and I'm going to heat up the pipe at the same time. And as I'm heating it up, I'm going to wiggle the pipe back and forth until it becomes loose. And you're just going to keep a constant flame on it until the pipe heats up and the fitting comes loose. You can see here, I said be careful because it's hot. We heat it up and we just kept rocking it back and forth very gently until it came out. Now that we got both sides done, what we're going to do is we're going to let it cool off. Obviously you have that wet rag, so you can kind of just put it on there and let it cool off. And we're going to start cleaning our connections. You want to make sure that you clean the connections here and on the new coil to make sure that you don't have runoff when you're soldering on the new piece. This is obviously going to be the fun part, but just keep on sanding it down. You want it to be nice and clean all the way around. We're about halfway done here. You can see here, this is what the other side looks like. You already see the difference with the sandpaper. Now we're going to do the same thing with this connection that's on the coil. Putting the new coil back inside. You can see there in the back there's a little space going all the way across. Now on the back of this coil is a lip. That lip is going to stick inside of there. You see here, I got the lip inside the groove. Now we're going to add our flux. Now we're going to start making our connections. We've made our connection, and now we're going to start on the other side. Okay, once you finish making your connections, you can just let the pipe cool off for a couple of minutes, clean up the area that you were working on, and then go ahead and turn the water back on that supplies the water to the coils for your heating system. Turn the valves back on. If you are sure that there are no leaks in the system and you've turned the water on, now we're going to make our connection for our heat pump or a circular pump or a taco pump. You connect your black terminal and then make sure you connect your neutral, going back in with the other neutrals. We're going to connect our hose to the bib, and we're going to basically flush any air out of the line. You don't want to put the heater on with any air in the line, because then you'll find that the heat will fluctuate. It'll get hot, then cool, then warm, and hot, and cool, and warm. It might even happen to your water as well. So you always want to make sure that you flush out any air out of your line. You can connect the bib to the outside of your door if it reaches, or your washing machine. But you'll hear the air as it starts to spit. And once it stops spitting, then you know that you're good to turn on your heater. I said let it run for a couple of minutes. Turn your breaker back on. Put your cap back onto your bib. Make sure you apply the power back to your FAU. Put a screwdriver. This will engage your emergency kill switch. Go to your thermostat. Make sure you have it on heat and on auto. Adjust the temperature and make sure that you have heat coming out. You'll want to go to one of your vents. If you have a temperature gun, you'll be able to take the temperature. Right now I can actually feel the heat coming out. If this video was a help, feel free to subscribe. Thank you.